What is consciousness? The live stream of consciousness is on a quest to unravel the mystery of existence. Every episode, we ask the fundamental question that has captivated human minds for centuries. Is consciousness merely a product of our brains, or does it connect us to something greater? Explore the very fabric of our thoughts. Don't miss a moment. Expand your awareness and tap into the boundless potential that resides within you. Welcome to the live stream of consciousness.
Hello and welcome to the live stream of consciousness. I've got to kind of compete with Jesse there. He did such an amazing job on the voiceover. That, of course, is Jesse Blaze Snyder, my old co-host for the live stream of consciousness. Welcome to the live stream. It is Thursday, June 22nd. I say it every week now, it seems, but oh my God, the year is flying by. It's already the middle of the year. Can you believe it? Summer. It's like almost the middle of summer. No, I don't want to push that too far. But welcome. I am in a super, super cool, great mood. I have an awesome guest who I'm excited to meet and learn about and share with you. But I'm also coming off of a little bit of a high. I did Grace Grella's live show tonight. So Grace Grella is a psychic medium who is awesome. She had a public access television show for 29 years where you would call in and, ask her a question. And she, I didn't know this. I was a guest on her show with Janice, my girlfriend, and we were her last guest on the public access show. I didn't know that was going to be her last episode. And it was awesome to have that honor. But through meeting her and getting to know her, a couple of weeks later, she contacted me, or I don't remember. We were talking, and I said, "Why don't you still do your show?" She wanted to still do her show, and I said, "I'll produce your show," and I do it through live stream through StreamYard, which is what I do this show on, and it was amazing. I added a call-in feature where you could actually call in to the show, and I can take it as an audio call. And I'm going to do that on the live stream. I'm not going to put the number up right now. I want to talk to our guest, but it's exciting. Things are growing. I'm now actually using this tool that I love so much to connect with people, to actually help other people connect, which seems to be my gift. So I'm sharing that with you. Thank you guys for being here and appreciating it. I see out there Ninja Kitty, what's happening, and I see the lovely Janice out there, the quiet healer. Welcome to the live stream. I seem like I'm in a good mood, right? I'm feeling pretty good. Anyway, tonight's guest was actually, for a couple of weeks, I was like double booking, and I had to keep moving people around. And oh my God, I'm having two people tonight. And thankfully, she was very understanding of that, and we made plans to come back. And she's going to be here tonight. And her name is Dr. Staci Snair. She's branding herself all over the internet, Staci Snair, with her little memes. I love it. And she has a wellness center called, I believe it's called the Peacefully. Oh my goodness, I have it right here. It's the Peacefully Living Center for Wellness. I always say Wellness Center instead of Center for Wellness because it seems to be the way they like to say it. So, but that's her own creation and place where she does her business, and she is a light bringer. Like all of the people who I bring on the show, they bring light to the world. We connect to them, and it's awesome. We all share this moment. So without further ado, I'm going to welcome to the live stream of consciousness, Dr. Staci Snair. Welcome.
Good. Hi, how are you?
I'm doing good. How are you doing?
Good morning, but it's definitely not morning.
It's morning somewhere, somewhere on the earth, and some multiverse
true.
as well. It's morning, so it works. It's a positive greeting, right? That's all that
Absolutely,
matters.
Absolutely.
So welcome to the live stream. You were recommended by one of the viewers. I think it was Jill, who recommended you come on the show. And I looked at who you were, and I was like, yes, awesome, perfect person. And again, I'm sorry I double booked you, but here you are.
No worries. But like I said, everything works
you kept
out.
saying that everything happens in due time.
Yeah, and it's June 22nd, and your show number is 111.
Yes.
So I loved it, and my address is 333. So I
Wow.
thought it was divinely orchestrated. So,
Awesome. Well, you just made it that way. That's
yeah.
that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And we have a Ninja Kitty out there saying, welcome, Stacy. She's always
Hi.
graciously welcoming the guests. Ninja Kitty's been here since day one, which is awesome. So I don't know if you've seen my show, but there's some business that we got to take care of before we get
Yeah.
into opening up the stage to you. Grace is out there and she says great energy. Yes, it's a
Grace.
residue from tonight's show. But the business we need to take care of is my sound bites. I get my little sound bites, right? So I ask you the question and you answer, and just give me what comes to you and what you think. And,
There we go.
and that question is, what is consciousness?
Consciousness is, to me, is a state of being in your truth. So it's really being heart-centered and allowing that heart to connect to everything that's out there. The heart's more electrified than the brain. So that's our pure soul and consciousness.
Excellent. I love it. I love it. That's actually the first time I've heard it put that way. And the reason I love that question so much is because all of the different answers they're all just part of each other, it just grows in definition. So if I go back to a live stream of consciousness where we first started asking that question and like compile all those in a soundbite, it's going to be a massive video when I do that. So
that'll be cool.
That's awesome. So so there's a second question, which actually usually leads us right into the conversation and who you are and how you became that way. But that is, I ask my guests to usually share a story or a moment that they remember where it became evident that things were not what they thought, like, things were not what we're taught in the mainstream, way of living, as far as spirits go or dimensions or whatever else might be out there. Do you have a specific?
My reason for where I am kind of leads me to that.
Perfect.
As a child, I always knew something else was out there, but I grew up in a very traditional Jewish household. My parents we were reformed, so kind of laid back in the religion, but no spirituality as far as cosmic. And but ironically, I always called my maternal grandmother my good little witch, never even knowing what that meant. So I had something brewing inside of me that I was too young to be aware of, and my parents didn't know enough to nurture it. But that's part of my journey too, right? Is to discover this on my own. So fast forwarding a couple of years, in 2001, I unfortunately lost my firstborn, my son. He was 3 years old. And I just knew that there was a reason why, and I didn't know what it was, but I did find some comfort in knowing that. Never went to a medium, never did meditation. And I'm like, somebody can connect me, then I know he's okay. So I went to a medium, 2 separate mediums. The third one, I'm like, look, I'm glad you're good, Ethan. I know you're good. I'm okay. What was the reason for this? And with that, my paternal grandmother came through.
Wow.
And told me, Staci, you need to do something. And that's where my journey began. And I started with meditation, which brought me such divine peace. After my son passed, I don't know how deep to go into the story. So if I'm going,
no, this is exactly what we're here for, and it's perfect. Like I said, the question usually leads to, and it's funny because meditation is usually that gateway drug, isn't it?
Yeah, well, and it truly was a drug for me, because after my son passed, I wasn't holistic at the time either. I am very much so now, but I, like a grieving mother, I went to my doctor. I was seeing a therapist. I was on a cocktail of just make me happy pills. And once I started meditation, everything just lifted. And I really became centered. I became happy again. I knew what happiness was again. And going further into that, I was able to connect with my son. And through my meditation,
yourself.
Yes, myself.
Not through a medium. That's all.
No. And I just started getting my messages from him and expanding on that. And from there, I went to this beautiful place in McKaysville, Georgia, called Delphi University. And I learned to become a psychic medium. I unraveled I believe everybody has the gift.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's just how to unpackage it. So
Yep.
they taught me how to unpackage it. They taught me the power of healing with my hands.
Mm.
And then I just kept going from there. So it's
awesome.
really been a beautiful journey.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's awesome. So it's also very interesting that it was your son that you were looking for to come through, and it wasn't your son who came through. It was your paternal grandmother, you said?
Yeah, and that was the third time. So yeah, the
Yeah.
first 2 times he did come through, let me know he's okay, gave me all the traditional,
Oh,
yeah,
okay,
Mom, I'm
okay.
good, you know, everything's okay,
Right,
just
right.
trust. And
Right.
but then
But you were looking for a message. You were looking for
I was looking for a
a
real
why.
reason.
Yeah,
Why?
Yeah.
I do believe, my husband and I always believed in Bichette. Bichette means that like everything happens for a reason. Everything, what's meant to be will be.
Yeah.
And so I've always lived my life that way, not fully understanding the full depth of that until I needed it.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And once I received it, I'm like, wow, my journey is to help others heal and to show people that they are the most powerful thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they need healers to guide them. But if they're not there, if they're not willing to participate in that journey, the healing can't happen.
Yeah.
But we have to see what's in our way so that we can join forces and make our healings work.
Totally. That's 1,000,000% in line with the live stream of consciousness philosophy. Like exactly, I mean, I personally, I don't do as a business like Reiki or any sort of healing work. I do studio work. I'm a photographer, a videographer. This platform, this kind of connecting of people is something I've always had this knack for introducing people together who were supposed to be introduced together, that they go off and do something really great. And, I kind of found this avenue, and I feel like this is my light work.
Absolutely.
Which is really, really cool, because I feel like, oh wow, I'm not doing it the same way everyone else is doing it. I'm actually letting other people do it the way they're doing it, and that's just being, right? It's like you're just being, I'm just being, and together it's a multiplied just being. I don't know.
Yeah, well, we're channels of that divine love and light.
Yeah.
And that's what you're being a channel for which we can then channel through as well. Right. So it's beautiful. It's we all have to work together. If we're not working together, then we're not a light.
Exactly. I mean, I think, and that's kind of to expand on the consciousness thing. I think, when I raise my vibration, it raises the collective vibration. When I help someone else raise their vibration, it raises the collective vibration. One thing I love about healers too is, it's become such a word, a catchword, a healer. But I think the true authentic healers that I really resonate with are the ones who do it because they get healing from it. It's like when you heal someone and you receive back that gratitude, that that and that knowing that you did that, it's just really, it's amazing.
Well, really what a healing is, when I do healings, I'm always energized. My husband can always tell the difference. Did you do healings today? Did you do readings today? Mm-hmm. Readings, I'm channeling, but it's just different than healing energy. Mm-hmm. And I'll sometimes get tired from that. Mm-hmm. It's also a lot of emotions involved. But when you're healing, when you're literally a vessel and the light comes through you, mm-hmm. it is that giving that we receive, right? That's part of St. Francis' mm-hmm. prayer. Mm-hmm. And you really feel elated. And if you're not in sorry, my computer did something funny. If you're not in an elated state or a high frequency state, you can't channel healing. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So it's just, it is a gift. It's a gift to yourself and to others. Absolutely.
And Grace said this, right? As you were saying this message, and it's in the giving that we receive. And you know what? It's just also, I mean, it sounds simple, but it's and it is.
It's simple.
It is simple. It is simple. But I think a lot of people have difficulty with it. But it's like once you realize that, and it makes sense to you, it's like it makes it so much easier to want to give, because how it feels. You know what I mean? It's like,
well, this might not be a popular opinion, but I'm also a reformed school teacher. So I
Okay.
taught in the public. It's taught in
Wait. A reform school teacher or a reformed school teacher?
Reformed public school teacher.
Okay.
So I'll explain.
Reform school is a whole different thing.
I taught in the public school system for about 22 years and
Okay, wow.
decided it just didn't align with me, and I couldn't give the students what I felt they needed. I don't feel that everyone is a cookie cutter, and so it didn't vibe with me anymore. So I left. Okay. And so what might be an unpopular opinion is, I think a lot of people are so wrapped up in their ego, not the rah, I'm wonderful ego, but the ego spiritual side of themselves or unspiritual side of themselves that needs a validation. I did a good job healing. You know, in the beginning, I recognized in myself, my readings like, ooh, did you get that? If you got that message, then I did a good job. But it's not about me at all.
Right.
The clearer I got in understanding, I had nothing to do with it. I was just there.
Right.
The more powerful my readings actually got,
right.
and my healings got, because it's not about me.
Right.
It's actually more about the person that's sitting across from you or laying on your table than it is of you.
Absolutely.
But not to be judgmental of them either, because
Right.
we're all here to learn and grow.
Right.
It's funny because at the beginning stages of my spiritual development, my husband's been wonderful through this journey.
Cool.
And he's also
That's always a good thing, yeah.
Yeah, no, it is. It is. We have a beautiful story. But at the beginning stages, it was very frustrating for him and myself because I still had a large part of ego involved. I'd be lying if I say there's no ego there. I'm human, so
Sure.
There's going to be something, right?
Yep.
But if I demonstrated something at home that was contrary to my spiritual beliefs, my husband would be like, but why are you doing that? And I'm like, well, babe, if I hadn't perfected, I wouldn't be here anymore. I would have ascended. So I'm glad I'm still learning.
Oh, I love that. You should be glad
that I'm learning, right?
I'm still here.
So that's been our little inside joke to kind of keep each other on our toes and humbled.
That is so great. I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. And you know what? I think humility is definitely one of the words. I mean, again, it's weird. I know I should somehow be speaking to people and encouraging people, and I do this way, you know what I mean? But in some other capacity, but like just the specific words, gratitude, humility, these words are so important and again, so simple, such simple concepts that empower you so much when you embrace them.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
ego makes it complicated.
It really does. And even ego is one of those things. We are all works in progress, Grace says.
Yes.
Absolutely. And knowing that is important. And that's a part of that kind of, I don't want to say, I mean, I know there was a time where I was like, nope, I got rid of my ego. And you don't do that. You don't want to get rid of your ego. Your ego is there for a reason. Your ego is a part of you. But recognizing your ego and how it's interacting with you and how it's allowing you to respond to others is super important. And it's again, it's easy once you kind of do it,
Sometimes, right? Sometimes.
Yeah. So okay, so you say you have an amazing story. I want to hear more about it, but I do want to pop up the banner here, which is stacysnair.com, and that will take you to the Peacefully Living Center for Wellness, which we were talking about. So I don't want to jump past a lot of stuff, but I do want to talk about where you're at now. So can you strategically take me from there to here?
Strategically. All right. So, I told you about my son, Ethan, and that's kind of launched things for me. After I came back from Delphi University, I was a certified medium. I was a certified spiritual counselor, healer. But no, I didn't know exactly how to describe what I did. And Reiki was something that was well known. So I went on to pursue my Reiki certifications, becoming Reiki Master in Usui and Karuna, the masculine and feminine sides of Reiki. And so now I teach that as well. And it's so nice to teach people. It really is. I love when the light bulb goes on. And I said I'm a reformed public school teacher, but I'm always a teacher. That's just
Right.
like you're a connector. I'm a teacher.
Right.
That's
Right.
That's just.
Well, actually, I taught at SUNY Farmingdale for a couple of years.
Oh, did you?
And teaching is amazing. Teaching is really an amazing place to be. But at SUNY Farmingdale, it was like half the kids were falling asleep. But the other half of the kids would come back to me, and I actually still know a couple of the kids that I taught as adults. They were adults then, but I mean, I know them now, and it's just amazing that relationship when you teach someone something. It's very much like healing because you're learning as well, about yourself. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And just all of that stuff. So
Yeah. I say my own personal children are my greatest teachers. Absolutely. So I have 4 other children at home, ranging from age 12 to 23.
wow.
And I learn from them every day. It's really beautiful to see how individual they are.
Mm-hmm.
But yet the love that they share for each other is so succinct. It's nice. That's when you know you did a good job as a parent. I can't take credit for their actions. I just guide them. Their choices are their own.
Right.
But seeing the love that they have, and I hope I had some part in fostering that within them.
Of course you did. Yeah.
That's success.
Yeah.
Life success. I mean,
Absolutely.
Beautiful.
I feel very fortunate. I look at myself, I look at the world around me, you know what I mean? And it's unfortunate that a lot of people don't grow up with that. You know what I mean? There is not a lot of love. I mean, I guess I don't want to say that. There is a lot of love. You know,
you triggered something to me.
Yeah. There is a lot of love, and you know what? I kind of envy where you're at, because you seem to be looking at the world through this perspective that allows you to be who you are, and I'm not going to deny that I'm human too, and there are probably some certain blocks that when I say things like that out loud, I'm like, oh, wait a second, I shouldn't really say that, because I know the power of the word, I know the power of the thought, but what I mean is I have definitely encountered a lot of people who grew up in not the best circumstances, not the best household.
Sure. And this was one of my biggest challenges in the school system, is there would always be a reason or an excuse why a child was doing what they were doing. And, well, they don't know better because they're from a troubled home. Well, is that really true? They experience right and wrong. They know what they're doing. I wouldn't disempower them by saying they don't know better because of where they came from.
Right.
And then I'm a big Wayne Dyer fan. I loved Wayne Dyer. Had the pleasure of being able to channel him a couple times after his passing. And I really took his teachings to heart. His story was just beautiful. He did not have an easy life growing up. And it was because of his story, his upbringing, that he credited himself with being a self-actualized person, being able to understand people more, be more forgiving, be more independent of himself. And these are my words, not his, but that's the gist of it.
Right. That's the message that you got from it.
Yeah. So it's every choice we make is ours. And my kids did not have an easy life. My husband and I love each other very much. We've tried to create the most nurturing of households. But my kids had a rough start, My son Ethan was our first. My daughter was 18 months when he passed. And so my kids had to grow up with death as a real big reality. Wow. They had to see I'm actually wasn't going to say it. I'm going to cry because of truth. I cry when I hit truth, and
it's so powerful. Do it.
So I'm in the process of writing a book, and the book is going to be my year of grief. So because everyone thinks grief is a date on the calendar, right? So the anniversary of somebody's passing, that's when we're allowed to grieve. Maybe their birthday, maybe Father's Day. But there are so many markers to grief throughout the year. It's just, you can't explain it unless you experience it. And you don't want anyone to have to experience it, but there's life and death, right? That you can't avoid it.
Right. Sure.
So my son passed, as I said, in 2001. So it's many, many years ago. I've had lots of healing. I'm still a mom that lost her child.
Sure.
And so his birthday was July 2nd. So you have me in prime grief mode. My due date was June 30th. So every year, June 1st, my body just goes into this weird thing.
Wow.
And I don't always catch it right away because I've experienced this so many years, you think you have it already, but it comes up again. And so my book's going to be around explaining that because, there's a lot, other than my kids, really, I don't think anyone in my family understands it.
Right. Well, Grace is saying grieving is a personal journey, and it's so true. It's got to be different for everybody, because everybody's kind of going from the perspective that they had with the relationship with that person.
Yeah.
And
grief is not just about death.
Right.
Grief is about any kind of loss.
Right.
It could be the loss in a relationship, as far as a divorce or a breakup. It could be the loss of a job. It could be the loss of a home. It could be so many different things. And I think just as society's trying to bring to light mental health, I think we need to bring to light the aspects of grief and how it plays into our daily being.
Right.
Because it's such a huge factor, and it's on such a cellular level.
Right.
That consciousness, we're not fully aware in our physical consciousness what's going on. So I think that would help a lot of people be more compassionate too, to know that there's always a story that someone's living, and if we could just be kind.
And again, it's so simple, right? It
really is.
it seems so simple. Ninja Kitty says her brother passed in 2012, and I miss him every single day. Of course, absolutely. It's interesting because I find as and I hate using these buzzwords, but like a spiritual person, I'm not afraid of death. You know what I mean? I'm certainly connected to that energy and the idea that we exist as energy at our core. But so many people are so afraid of dying and so afraid of, there being nothing. And God, I hope they're not right. but
no, they're not.
No, I don't think they are either. And you know what? I'm not even going to say that. I'm going to say I know they're not. Because I think for me, part of my journey, again using these buzzwords, was kind of this moment of going of believing things and knowing things.
Sure.
This feeling of like, wait a second, I don't just believe that. Like, I know that, you know what I mean? And it's like a feeling. It's a core thing.
Yeah.
But I'm imagining imagining that knowledge helps you with that grief and your connection with Ethan.
100%. I actually had the honor several times of way back when a colleague of mine knew that I was spiritual, knew that I was a medium, and her mom was passing of cancer. And she was just holding on and wouldn't let go. She was afraid. And she asked me if I would talk to her. So my motto is, if somebody asks me to do something, I try really hard to say yes. I won't say I say yes 100% of the time, but I try to say yes, show up for the service. And so I did. I don't know what I'm going to say to this woman. How am I going to even handle this? And this was really early on in my career. So I met with her and I listened to what her fears were. And she's like, but what is it like over there? So I explained to her everything that I saw when I connected with somebody, everything that they told me. And it was such a gift because within a couple of days she passed, and she passed in peace because she wasn't afraid anymore. That's
so awesome. And so beautiful.
It was such a gift. It really was. And there's a fear that people have. And I don't fear death. There's an energetic connection you have with people that pass that is so beautiful and really can fuel you.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not a it's not a physical connection.
Mm-hmm.
You can't get
Sure.
that hug again. You can't,
Sure.
So there is a difference between it.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a lot of beauty that's still there. And my hope is that people start putting more faith in that, and to connect, allow their guards to come down, to connect a little bit more to what's out there, and you can help them through those human times where they are having a hard time.
Right. Because you're still human.
Yes.
Yeah. It's interesting. You had said something earlier about Reiki, like when you were learning in your journey, you went with Reiki because you felt like, oh, it's well known.
Mm-hmm.
And my girlfriend's a Reiki master as well. And I even in a spiritual community, I mean, everyone I know knows what Reiki is, but outside of that community, it seems like, oh, Reiki, what is that? What is that? Now, I'm saying that in the same breath that I want to talk about what a great time it is, and my belief that yes, people are opening themselves up to what you're talking about, because just like you said, so many people are coming to you wanting to learn Reiki, and I think the cool thing about that is, like, that's authentic. You're not like, I want to learn Reiki on a whim, like that's like a drive, like, wait a second, I want to understand what you mean. I have energy in my hands. I can move energy around, and I've been doing qigong a little bit in the morning, and again, just kind of the understanding that I have about energy is helping me understand how it's connected to the movements. You know what I mean, and to what's happening. And I think, even, I gotta say, I think part of that connecting with the energy is here.
Sure.
You know what I mean? So you're actually like using your mind to help conjure that physically, you know. I don't know.
Opening up the channel.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just kind of saying this out loud. I don't even know what I'm saying, but I'm just telling you how it feels, and what I'm experiencing and how it's relating to the things that you're saying.
There's different healing sessions that I offer. Obviously, I as we mentioned, I do Reiki, and through my doctorate in metaphysical healing, we do a lot of different spiritual healing sessions where they're phenomenal, and they really blow through blocks, and we can go into the etheric and do psychic surgery and replace different parts that we need to replace in the body. Really cool stuff. And that is more just being in the moment and not so much in my head. When I practice, I'm also an Eden Energy Medicine Practitioner, and that is kind of like acupuncture without needles.
Okay.
And that I am very much in my head. I'm very aware of what points I'm pressing and holding, and where I'm flowing through the meridians and not. So merging the two modalities is neat, because then you have the soul energy, like the complete energy, and the mind working together, which is a nice package.
Yeah, absolutely. I can imagine. And not to push her, but just to make that connection. My girlfriend, who's a Reiki master, also gets messages when she does Reiki for people.
Sure. Yeah.
So she's like kind of got that kind of combination that you're talking about,
Yeah.
And it's amazing to see. And I was talking to Grace about this, like, just watching her do what she did, and just by talking to people and be able to pull messages and get information that, it's like, well, you're connected to something because you've got this information, and this information is being validated, you know what I mean, by whoever it is that you're talking to. So you do a bit of everything, but tell us specifically, like, what's going on new. Like, you've got some new things that you're working on, you were telling me about earlier.
Yeah, so I have a couple different things going on. One thing that I is near and dear to my heart is inner sanctuary training. Inner sanctuary, it's a long weekend or spread out over a couple of weeks training session.
Okay.
In which you learn a specific type of meditation. And that's the meditation I learned to connect with my son. So that one's very near and dear to my heart, and really it brought me out of the depths of despair, really. And
What
so
is it called? What's the specific type of meditation you said? What
it's
is?
called Inner Sanctuary Training.
Oh,
It's
that's
through
the name of
Delphi
it. Okay,
University. Yeah,
gotcha.
it's
Okay,
through Delphi
I
University,
hadn't heard of
and
that before.
um, it's a wonderful technique where you go in and not only are you're releasing, there's different rooms in this temple, and you're able to release in one room, you're restoring and healing in another room, you're experiencing just love and gratitude in another room, and then you can go in and into your insight chamber and get specific answers that you need. Then you take it to a separate room where you manifest it and you really start creating. So the meditation's kind of in depth, and it's something that you do, I was going to say routinely, so that you can build upon it and keep going deeper into your own soul to find out what is there that's perhaps stopping you from what your desires are.
So I'm curious, and look who popped in, Jilly. What's happening, Jilly?
Hey, Joe.
So I'm imagining that this is like a guided meditation, and that there's a specific visualization happening with it.
Yeah, but you learn to guide yourself.
Okay.
So Delphi really, I love Delphi. I really do. There's no place in the world like it. I'm so grateful that they were my first teachers in this.
I'm gonna have to check it out.
Yeah, really, they're beautiful, beautiful souls. They teach you in a way that you own it. It becomes who you are. The rules are the rules of you, your soul, your consciousness.
I love that.
They teach you a method, but it's up to you to use it with your own style, just like handwriting would be.
That sounds like perfect for me, honestly. Like, I feel like, one of the things I talk about with Janice all the time is that, like, doing this show kind of just came to me, and not just came to me, but like it came into my life and it became a part of what I am and what I do. And it just resonates so strongly with me. And I saw your husband pop up, and I lost my.
Oh, there he is.
Feeling.
He's gonna go to Delphi.
So I remember what I was gonna say. It was like I was saying to you earlier. Like I know the power that lies within me. I know the greatness that lies within me. And I feel like I just be, you know what I mean? And I do me and whatever. But again, I don't have a specific modality that I focused on. And that sounds like the way to kind of find that, to be able to figure out, well, what is it that really resonates with you? And so connected to that was this show. I feel like that's why I bring on the kinds of people I do, because that's one day I'm just going to connect with the right people. And I guess every show I do I'm absorbing your energy and what you're talking about and all the things that, that you're all about. So I think that's what this is about. And I'm just thinking out loud as
yeah, no, it's good. Hey, we are many, we are one. We're all connected, and we all have something to learn from each other, always. Whether it's an infant or an elderly person that's been here for 120 years, we all have something to learn from each other. And once we allow ourselves to open enough to see that, it's just, and you are open. I mean, that's why you're doing what you're doing, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm
part of me inside, each time you go, well, I don't know what my modality is, I'm like, oh my gosh, your heart is huge, and you're giving love in so many different ways. That's healing in and of itself. That's a type of modality. So yeah.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And again, I do know that. And what's great about that is I don't have to do anything. All I have to do, Jilly, what do I have to do? I just have to show up. Right.
Yeah.
And that's what's great about that. But again, I feel like I want to play, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like I want to do some Reiki on someone, or I want to connect them to their relative, but I don't know.
You would love Delphi. You really would. They're just such a beautiful group of people. There's no judgment there. Right. They'll call you out on your stuff in the most loving of ways, but yet straight, and help you through whatever you need to to work on. They're just, I can't say enough about it. I just love it.
Totally. She's asking me where my necklace is, and oh my God, my necklace isn't on. Julie gave me this wonderful necklace. It's next to my bed. I take it off at night. That's why I didn't put it on today. And you know what? I gotta say, Julie, I would say 99 out of 100 mornings I put it on and I think about the intention and the meaning of the necklace, and I'm like, I'm going to just show up, and I put it on, and it's very powerful, Julie. So you caught me with my pants down. I don't have the necklace on, but I, I am so grateful that you gave that to me, and it means so much. And all it is, it's a washer that has just show up, engraved on it, and it's so freaking powerful to me. It really is
Beautiful.
So I love that.
Nice.
So tell us more about what you were talking about, this inner
sanctuary. So that's the meditation in a nutshell. It's a deep process. Through everything is busted. Everything. Jason will always call you out on something.
He just did. Yep.
Yeah. You guys should go to Delphi together. Pull each other down there.
Nice.
But so inner sanctuary is. I lost what I was going to say. It's a fundamental piece, I think. It's
and you are that temple, right? I mean, that inner sanctuary. It's really.
Well, it's your inner sanctuary. Yes, 100%. Yeah,
I love that. I love
it's
that.
all within you. Everything is within us.
Yeah.
There's nothing out there that we need, right?
So yeah, I think, and again, I don't want to keep going back to me, but I think that is.
It's all about you. It's all right.
That is my block, and I've actually worked with Glenn Dove. I've worked with a few people who I've had great results with, except when it comes to like hypnotism and visualization, it's like it's almost too strict for me. It's like I don't see it the way you're seeing it, like I don't see a stairway or a bridge or whatever it is that you're suggesting,
So this is what I tell my students.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. There's so many different modes of clairs, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's your clairvoyance, your clairaudience, your clairsentient. Right. I'm clairsentient. Mm-hmm. I didn't see for a long time. Mm-hmm. My first time that I actually started, I was a medium before I was seeing. Mm-hmm. Okay. I wasn't clairvoyant when I was a medium, when I started my mediumship. And then I started seeing in the old negatives of pictures. I would see everything in that sepia of different shades. So I'm like, all right, this really isn't helping me tell people colors because it's all kind of monochromatic, right?
Right.
But if you're clairsentient, I tried so hard. Ego was so attached, as I had said earlier, that I tried so hard to see that I couldn't be me fully. Right. Once I dropped trying to see and I just went with who I am, which is clairsentient, then everything just kind of started opening.
Yeah.
So stop trying to see. just no. Yeah. Just show up. Just show up.
No, and I do, and I certainly, the thing I love about meditation is, as far as like, I don't want to say the visuals, but like as far as how it feels, the experience, for me, there's like a variation. There's like, 10 different, it's one of those, and the experience, the feelings, the way that I'm connecting to that same thing it's got a little bit of a different feel to it, a little bit of a different flavor. And, I'm definitely in tune with that. But again, watching, I'm good friends with Christopher Allen, who's an amazing, amazing psychic medium. Grace Grella, who I've just become good friends with, is also, I totally resonate with everything they say. I watch it. I watch them say, I'm feeling this, I'm seeing this, whatever it is, however it's coming through, like, I'm right there with them, you know what I mean? And then when it gets validated by whoever they're talking to, it's like I'm like, oh, yes, like that's amazing. And I get the chills. But again, it's like all the different ways that I've heard that messages come through, not for me. You know what I mean? Like, and again, maybe you're like, because I'm trying to hear them that way. You know what I mean? It's like, I just got to let it happen. And that's. Go ahead.
Yeah, just because the other one is being claircognizant and just knowing. Like, I'll be talking to somebody and then all of a sudden I talk fast as it is, but my speech will just go faster and faster. And people ask me to repeat things. I'm like, I can't, because it just came through. I don't know what I'm saying.
Right.
I'm channeling something.
I
And
definitely feel that way sometimes, for sure.
I'm sure you can't speak to people this much and not.
Yeah.
So because you're speaking from your heart. So there's no way that everything that you're saying is orchestrated in your mind.
Oh, I love that.
It has to
That's
come
great.
through you.
I love that. You just gave me,
Yeah.
you just clarified my purpose. I love it. Thank you,
There
Staci.
you go.
I'm all set now. I don't have to think about it anymore.
There you go. But you can absolutely go to Delphi because it's an amazing experience.
Yeah. I'm definitely going to look into it, and we'll talk more after the show.
Sure.
I'll get some information. I did want to share this. You do have some other stuff coming up. I wanted to talk about this program. What is this all about?
This is really cool. So this came about, navigating your world and the world around you, came about because people kept asking me for help, but not able to commit to doing any specific long-term plan. A lot of people are having financial troubles right now, and there has to be some kind of energetic exchange, but I always look at a way to make it possible for people. So but the other piece is, I want to make people, I used to say empower people. One of my teachers said, well, how about making them capable? So, and I like that word better. So I like to put things in people's hands, give them the tools that they need. And that's what this course is about. And it's a course that you can take repeatedly if you want, or it's a 4-week experience. So we have a daily journal that I created, and it's so you can engage in your day more, be aware, be conscious of your day and the things that go on in your day. I teach different metaphysical and energetic tools to assist people in their journey. So whether it's calming down, I shared with you earlier that I was in full fire mode, and my triple was like going, ah! So there's tools to help calm that. There's tools to work on the neurovascular system, depending on which element you are, to bring them into balance. With this group, we're going to have an online component that we can all talk together. So each week we'll meet together and talk about our week. So how did your journals go? What notes did you take in your journal that you want to talk about or have answers to? So we'll be doing that. And then along the way, during the weeks, I'll also give challenges. One of the challenges last time was to connect with nature. So go for a walk in the park, go to the beach, whatever that meant to you, that's what you would do. Another one was to connect with your inner child. So go play. What are you going to do to play? You're going to go on a swing? You're going to finger paint? What is it that you're going to do? Are you going to throw stuff up in the air and just dance around? Whatever it is. But those are different challenges that we would experience. And then, of course, there's always an option to set up private meetings with that as well.
Now, you're talking to me, and I'm actually equating all of the different things that you're saying to, I mean, they're each their own sort of meditation now, aren't they?
Sure, could be.
Yeah, I mean, like they're each, it's like a moment. So, and the reason I'm saying that is my brain is going a million miles an hour. So, I don't know if you know him. You most likely do. Stephen Durante. He's one of my mentors, one of my good friends, and he helped me to really understand meditation and get into it through guided meditation. And one of the things he talks about all the time, which just is such a great metaphor and makes so much sense, is the hamster wheel, right? The hamster wheel that we're on in our daily lives. And I am super, super guilty of this. And this is probably the challenge that I'm facing most right now in reaching that state, that you're talking about. And what's up, Pat Pauser? Good to see you. Ascending Fractal Wonders. I always love the greetings. Now I lost what I was saying. Hat Pauser, you screwed me up.
Hamster wheel.
Hamster wheel, right? Thank you. it's just such a great metaphor, because it's like, oh, what do I got to do next? What do I got to do next? What do I got to do next? You know, and you're in this routine. And I think what your program does, and other programs that I've seen that really makes so much sense, is like, step off the freaking hamster wheel for a second with intention. Like,
Mhm.
I'm intentionally stepping off of this hamster
Yes.
wheel to engage A or B, but whatever they are, there, engage myself with A, or engage
Yeah.
myself with B. It sounds amazingly like what this world needs, for sure. So, is this your first one?
I launched it. I did a pilot program with a couple of people, so this will be
Okay.
the first
Official.
official one. Yeah,
I'm gonna pop
but
it
I
back
do
up.
intend on doing it monthly.
Awesome. I'm gonna pop it back up, because I feel like this broadcast is finally relevant. You've got something coming up, like in just a week or two. So to promote, and it sounds amazing. It really does. I know Janice is working on a program herself, and she's running through some people through it right now, which is, again, the same kind of thing. Like, you have a journal, which keeps you, it's an accountability thing, right?
Yes.
So it keeps you accountable for engaging yourself on that
Yeah.
daily basis. And man, oh man, if everybody could do that, it would just, and myself included, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like, you know, I kind of my ego is like, no man, you're cool, don't worry about it, you're cool, you don't have to work, you don't have to do that spiritual work. But I think it's an ongoing thing. I think you always got to do it. And I
Absolutely.
kind of, I lazy out a little bit sometimes, and don't. And you know, it just sounds perfect. So you've actually, you know, you've given me a couple of things to explore that I'm excited about. Delphi, and just kind of even not to avoid taking your course, and maybe we'll do that, but like almost like create my own, like you said, like it's got to come from me, you know what I mean? Like, just commit to it, you know. And just like I'm getting up in the morning and doing, you know, the 10-minute qigong video, making sure I go. And I love that guy. He's like this Chinese monk in a standing on a mountain, and he's awesome. But just that, you know, that accountability is so powerful and important. And Janice is out there saying we always have to do the work. I'm sorry, babe. I know I'm a little lazy sometimes, but I'm working on it. I'm working on doing the work.
Even just doing a quick reflection, like of I tell people, it doesn't matter whether you write, draw, sing, whatever it is, have some component that's comfortable for you. I believe everyone should write after meditation, but I tell people they should draw. It's just so you can capture the experience and reflect back on it. But after you're doing qigong, why not write a statement? What did you notice? One thing you noticed about your experience that day.
Agreed.
And that's it. Just let it be a sentence or a picture.
I love it.
It doesn't have to be a novel. See, I used to have that overachiever thing for myself. If I didn't write a novel, then it wasn't good enough. So once I let myself go and say, well, you can just write 3 sentences. You can just draw a picture. How does it make you feel right now? That's it. So that itself is doing the work. You don't have to make it more than that.
And I think when you get it, when you're in that right flow, just writing that 1 or 2 sentences, you're like, oh, wait a second, more's coming. Wait, I'm still going. More is coming. Wait, you know,
that could happen.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I again, man, when I'm around people like you, I start to think thoughts, and they start coming out, and I'm like, don't say those words. Don't say those words. But and it's nothing bad. It's nothing bad. It's just like, I don't consider myself a big reader or a big writer. I do consider myself a creative, and writing has certainly been a great creative outlet. But when I do put myself in that right place, so I took a friend of mine was doing a writing course, and it was very spiritual. He had a clearing exercise, and like all of these different exercises that were totally connected to my spiritual practices, and just had me writing and writing and writing, you know. And it's like free writing sessions, and then like prompt writing sessions, and just different exercises that again require accountability, require intention. And I think, you know, those ingredients, you know, you can't make a bad cocktail, you know, with those ingredients, you know. I mean, it's just really great. And I love seeing your fan out there Jason, great idea, Dr. Staci.
He is my biggest fan.
I love that. I love that. That's great, as he should be. Awesome. So, wow, we are. I didn't even realize we're almost at an hour already. I love talking to you. You're full of so much.
I've enjoyed this.
Yeah, you're full of so much great energy and wisdom, you know, and resonate with the same ideas that I always talk about here on the live stream of consciousness. And you know, again, we're kind of both on this similar mission to help people understand how capable they are. You know, it's unfortunate, I think society has you know, layered on these beliefs to a lot of people that, you know, they're not as amazing as they are, you know what I mean, and that, you know, they need to compete or do this or do that, you know. So, and you have another fan out there in Julie saying it is amazing. Yeah, this has definitely been an amazing conversation. I certainly feel like we exchanged some great energy, which is always the goal. Do you have, I also, I did want to share this too. I was just kind of researching a little bit and I saw this. I love the way, as a graphic designer and kind of, you know, artist person, I love the way you brand yourself. I mentioned that.
Oh, thank you.
I think, you know, you're going for it. You're like Staci Snair. That's my name. You're not branding like the peaceful living center. You know, you're like, hey,
this is me.
And I gotta tell you, I'm actually not a huge fan of this particular kind of social media because it seems almost like generated or formulaic, but there's a certain, when I saw this, I just felt an energetic authenticity to it. You know, there was just something.
Because it was mine.
There you go. I don't know.
I create all of my posts myself. So
no way
any of those posts that I put my website on, I sat there, I connected with my energy, and
I love that. And I often feel, and it's certainly my ego that I feel like, ooh, I'm going to write that one down and put my name after it because it's just so cool, you know? But you know what? There's nothing wrong with that. I mean, that is a great sentiment right there. You know, success is creating a life that you are excited to wake up to each morning. I mean, that's it. That's perfect. And that's not saying anything other than be authentic, you know, and just be excited to wake up each morning because you know, that day is going to be filled with you.
Yeah.
You know, just doing the things that you love to do.
And sometimes it will be filled with challenges too, but they happen for you for a reason. And that's what we have to get over too.
There you go.
A bad day does not mean it's a bad day. It means it's an opportunity to learn and grow. And once we
you know what, like, and how much has that knowledge helped you just survive? Like, it's just the simplest knowledge, and it's like, you're like, man, I'm so grateful I know that. You know, like.
Well, you know, sometimes I forget and I have to remind it to myself, you know, I'm definitely human. But when I do remember it, it gives you the space to take that breath and see. And that's part of what that course is too, to see where is the challenge and why is it a challenge for me? Why am I reacting the way that I am? And let's look at it from a different perspective.
I love it. So before I put you in the green room, any words of wisdom to the live stream of consciousness audience out there?
Be happy.
Love it. The simplest words of wisdom are usually the best and most powerful. So you heard it. Be happy, guys. Staci, it's been wonderful talking to you. I will put you in the green room. If you like what you heard today and you're feeling good right now, like I am, check out stacisnair.com. Hat Pauser says, thanks, Michael and Staci. Thank you, Hat.
Thank you.
There. I appreciate.
Bye, everyone. Thank you.
We'll talk to you later. All right, guys. So you know what happens now. Hold on a second. That was so good. Wasn't that good? That was a great conversation. I loved it. I was ready for that. Great conversation. Tim says, thank you, Tim, for being there to appreciate it and receive it. The fact that I had that conversation with Staci and you were there listening makes it even greater, doesn't it? I mean, that's just what's so cool about this. Ooh, I just give myself chills. And Hat Pauser, feel good. The secret. Yes, absolutely, Julie. Thank you. I love you both. I love you, Julie. And I love everybody for being here who came to the show, if you came here by accident, subscribe, come back. I want you to be part of the live stream. The live stream is just always happening. We're always conscious. We are our own live streams of consciousness. And this is where I start saying ridiculous things just to that make sense, but they're just coming out. So next week, let me take a look at my calendar. I got some good guests coming up. I'm very excited. I don't know Ace the speaker, but I know a friend of mine recommended him to me. Another great motivational, love-centered, heart-centered person who I'm excited to meet. So the show has now become a mixture of people who I don't know and I'm getting to know and introducing to you, and people that I do know. In the coming weeks, I have Lucas Hassel coming, who's an amazing actor, who's somebody I do know, who was on the blacklist. Great guy. I was excited for him to come up. I have Raphael, who is in Vienna, making my show international. I love it when that happens. And he is a critical thinker. Let's just say that. A very interesting guy who I met on the Fool's Journey. I have some people coming up. So StreamYard is a cool platform that actually had a button that popped up that said, find a guest. And I clicked on it and it put me on this cool little like platform with other people. So I've got this guy named George Monty, who is a wellness practitioner in Hawaii, coming on the show. It's just going to be, everything's coming up roses. I'm super excited. The show is just growing and keeping me happy, always in my happy place. Ninja Kitty, you know, it's the happy place. So come back if you're new. If you're old and you always come back, I'll see you next week. And peace.